if you see a company that you like, help them out, give them a little love on social media. NWAngelConf is the hashtag or the Twitter handle that you should tweet out about. So at this point, we're going to start the next session. We have 3 teams again presenting. So first up is Will Gordon. Will, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Will Gordon, CEO and co-founder of Latchel. At Latchel, we coordinate maintenance for property management companies. This is a $7.6 billion problem in just the markets we're focused on, which is primarily management companies with single-family homes up to 9-unit apartment complexes. This maintenance problem is the single biggest driving factor in the entire property management and real estate industry. It's the reason why landlords turn to property management companies, and it's the reason why management companies turn to us. Traditionally, they have to hire 1 new employee for every 100 doors that they manage, and they don't have the processes, technological capability, or just the bandwidth to tackle those problems, and that's why they turn to us. So just to give more context on this hair on fire problem, here's Marples. They're one of our clients. They came to us with 2 maintenance coordinators, 350 units under management, and just a boatload of overdue maintenance requests that they had no idea what was going on. If they wanted to tackle that, they would have had to hire at least 1 more maintenance coordinator and spend a total of $157,000 a year just to get their maintenance problem under control. Instead, they hired us, and they only had to spend $67,000 because they also let go one of their maintenance coordinators because we did such a cost-effective job for them. Now, like I said, it's a hair-on-fire problem. We're young, we're not perfect, but because the services we offer are so much better than what they have today, they're willing to stick with us. So, how does it work? The property management company, and now many times the actual tenant, submits the work order to us. Our system will then handle the coordination and communication with the vendors, the tenants, make sure that there's a time that works, make sure everyone shows up to the appointment, the work gets done, and the invoices get sent back to the property management company. Now, whenever something goes wrong that isn't handled by our automation, a notification is sent to our operations and customer support team, and they take care of it. Today, 30% of work orders are handled completely by our system without us having to touch it after it gets entered. We've made a lot of changes in the past month and over the past couple weeks even. In the past month, we've been able to take the maintenance requests that come in and used to touch every single one. And now 75% go into our system without our team having to deal with them. And also, we now automatically assign vendors for 50% of the work orders that come into the system. We have quite a few changes that we can implement over the next few months, and we think we can get that 75% number up to close to 100%, and then that 50% vendor assignment up to close to 90%, and with the remainder us having to source vendors. So we have 2 primary revenue streams. The main one, the bulk of what we earn today, is a subscription fee from the property management companies. They pay us, our current customers, about $3.30 per unit per month to handle all their maintenance requests. New customers coming in are paying an average of $5.15 per unit. In addition to that monthly subscription fee, whenever we source vendors, we get 10% of the job that they perform. So we're able to make money on both ends of that service. The vast majority of our customers, though, fall into that paid plus category, where they come with a lot of their existing contractors, so we don't have to do a lot of work early on to source. And then just for a few jobs on demand, we'll source additional contractors and get that 10% service fee. So that overall market opportunity I was talking about, that $7.6 billion is focused on small, single family. Just recently, our technology has gotten to the point where we can start targeting larger tower apartment complexes. We actually have a deal coming, actually signed in for a Seattle company with a lot of towers, and we handle their internal maintenance team issues. So that opens up the market quite a bit more. There's also the commercial property management space that we're not touching. In addition, there's property management software, tons of opportunities, but the long story short is we see an opportunity that we can capture within the next 10 to 15 years of $1 billion in annual revenue. So here's our history over time. We've had pretty good growth. Right now, today, we're at 18,500 in just monthly recurring revenue. That's completely ignoring all the invoicing and all that other money that we could be making on the contractors. That blue line there is that contract that I was talking about with that Seattle-based company. And that will bring us to 22,500 in early January. And the retention made a lot of trial by fire issues early on and have been able to improve that. The past couple months, we're at 89%, mostly due to technology changes. And then this past month, we kicked it up to 95% of our customers month over month staying with us. So I'm really proud of that 95% because in addition, in the past month and a half, a lot of it due to the conversations with the SAC team, we found ways to make our operations team even more efficient, and we let go some unnecessary operations expense and have still been able to maintain that high level of customer service, mainly due to technology changes. You see it increase back up because we plan to hire engineers to help us expedite the margin improving opportunities we have inside of our product. So our forecasted growth rate is about 16% month over month. That's half of our historic growth rate. We expect a new service that we just launched, which is night and weekend only emergency service, to grow at a similar rate. So here's a snapshot of where we are today and the overall distribution of the team, so you can get a sense of where we're spending our money. Like I said, just under $18,500 in monthly recurring revenues, and our burn rate, our expenses beyond what we're taking in, is just under $10,000 monthly. Right now, Ethan and I are not taking any salaries, and after raising more, we do plan on paying ourselves so that we can put more food on the table. But the leadership team, pretty happy with the team we've been able to assemble. So myself, I come from an operations engineering and logistics background. My experience is with other companies like Amazon and PG&E building new businesses inside of existing business units. My focus was always on logistics and coordination between multiple parties. I helped launch Amazon Prime Now, the one-hour delivery service, as well as expand the Amazon Fresh and Amazon Logistics across the country. Ethan, he has a great product and sales background, particularly his last startup was with contractors.com, which was a lead generation marketplace. And he also has a great digital marketing background. Julian, our lead engineer, has a absolutely phenomenal startup background in terms of just the number of companies he's been able to build new products for. And he's a full stack developer, has built the vast majority of the technology on our back end. So moving forward, our biggest focus is improving that gross margin. So what I talked about earlier is there are a lot of opportunities inside of our workflow to completely automate the process. Simple ones are making sure that we don't touch any work orders as they come in, automatically assigning vendors and handling that process. There's also a lot of common exceptions that our team has to get on the phone to handle that we can automate. These are things like going back to a site after the first visit because there's a more complex issue, or scheduling for estimates when there's multiple vendors to coordinate with. We have a plan to automate most of that, so that 30% number should move to 60% within the next 3 to 6 months, and we expect our margin to improve substantially from around 45% now to above 60 to 70%. In addition, we have that night and weekend service. We're losing money on that today. On the unit economics level, it's pretty attractive. It's about 25 cents per unit to actually service an emergency maintenance request that comes in. And then we're taking in $1. We started the service to attract a very large client that needed that overall service, and it's very costly to have somebody 24 hours over the weekend and over those nights. So we're selling that service now, and we're about 1/3 of the way to completely covering its cost. And we project that we can 10x it without having to increase the manpower behind that service. Even more, we build a lot of technology that automates the process for us. But there's opportunity to package that and sell that to property management companies that may not want the full maintenance coordination solution. So we can sell those products just as a SaaS solution, and it's all digital sales that we don't have to get on the phone for. So since I have additional time, I'd like to talk about our metrics of lifetime value over customer acquisition cost. We do have a lot of phone communication for our sales right now, so I'm pretty proud of this number. Our best was just above 10 as a ratio of lifetime value over customer acquisition cost, but we normally vary between 4 to 6. And it is a crowded space in the overall maintenance coordination or just maintenance for property management companies. But I think Latchel is in a pretty unique position in the center of the maintenance outsourcing specifically. So most of these companies will handle just a tiny piece of the overall puzzle, and we are handling that end to end, which really is what's addressing the true pain of the property management companies. There are a few other companies inside that space, but those companies are focused on a very manual, human handheld solution. They don't have as much of a technology integration. So I think Latchel is very uniquely positioned and is ahead of these companies because we have such a strong technology foundation. Thank you for your time, and looking forward to answer the questions.
Our diligence team included myself and Mark, Kathleen, Mohit, and Erchenk, many with whom are in the audience. And we covered a wide array of topics with the team.
Okay, so we covered a wide array of topics with the team, and I'll highlight just 3 of them here. On the team side, we found Will and Ethan, the co-founder. They've worked together before, and they work really well together in our interactions with them. They're both smart, diligent, and open to advice, which is something that we really appreciate at SAC as we learn about them and they learn about us. And they've made some adaptations even to their process given our interactions with them already. On the product side, they have a solid value proposition, as you saw in the presentation with the property management companies in particular. They're going from a very high cost per 100 doors in terms of labor cost to manage their flow. To something very much more manageable with the Latchel solution. The blend of humans and automation in particular, I feel has a lot of room for them to automate more over time and keep even more of the revenue as margin. And they've been very responsive to additional customer needs. The 24/7 maintenance thing, for example, was due to a need that a customer of theirs had. On attraction level, they have real paying customers writing them checks or having credit card transactions every month, including some very large ones. They've got a large number of total doors under management, measured in thousands. And the early bet on 24/7 emergency service, as Will said, it's an early bet, and they've got some work to do to make that sub-business profitable on its own, but they have a clear path to that. A couple remaining questions that we had. One was on margin. What is your path to positive margins on each of your offerings? I know you covered some of that in your presentation, but how can you ensure you're signing profitable customers right from the beginning?
Yeah. So yeah, the path to positive margins, as I covered, we definitely have a clear path for improving our existing technology, and that it's that one 24/7 that we're improving and have customers filling in that service. So as soon as it's filled in, that one will be profitable, and it already is on a unit economics basis. Now, for ensuring assigning profitable customers, through this discussion, we've built a model for any customer that comes in, and we look at the history of work orders that they have been using themselves. How many do they have open? What % are the estimates? What is the total amount of budget that is given to each individual job? And based on our historical data, we know how many interactions that requires on the phone and what opportunities we have to automate that. So it's still an early model. It's usable by me and Ethan. We're trying to adapt it so that these, our help in the sales side is able to just use it themselves and figure out, is this profitable? Should I turn away this deal in the first place?
Thank you. On the resilient side, we'd like to know how your company is going to be able to thrive during increased financial pressure if we were to have in the next couple of years or a little further out some economic pressure that hurt the property manager's profitability and they're looking for costs to cut.
Yeah, I actually think if there was a recession, it would improve Latchel's overall value proposition. We're much cheaper than their existing labor force or hiring more people. And even though landlords and management companies may be less willing to do maintenance work, that means they're less willing to do renovations or unnecessary work. There's still going to be routine, necessary work that they're legally obligated to complete, and that's where we absolutely thrive. In addition to that, the vendors, since there's a crunch of less work available, they're much more willing to work with us. We can attract them more easily and have them use our platform. So I think if there was a downturn, Latchel would actually benefit quite a bit.
Thank you. And finally, on exit strategy, where are you aimed in terms of timing and valuation, and who would make an ideal acquirer if you were to be acquired?
Yeah, so there's a two-pronged way that we're thinking about this. There's the kind of the earlier route and then a bit more of a mid-stage route. So in the next 3 to 5 years, and this is particularly if these SaaS-type solutions are very attractive, there's companies like AppFolio or RealPage that are very acquisitive in the property management software space, and that could be an earlier acquire in 3 to 5 years. They typically do 5 to 10x revenues for the companies that they acquire. However, the managed service is where we see our true value of handling that communication coordination between these multiple parties. And companies like HomeAdvisor and Google and Amazon are very interested in that type of space, but that would be a 5 to 10-year timeline.
Thank you.